Welcome back to another episode of Philadelphia Eagles Talk with Geoff. And that's not a mirage. Point to the right way. That's not a mirage. That is actually Matt.
I'm back.
He's here. He's back after I was promising you 3 weeks ago he'd be back the following week, and then he wasn't. And then I promised again he'd be back, and he wasn't. He's here. So, Matt, welcome back. I know you've had a lot going on, but now it's time to refocus a little bit on our birds. Lots been happening. Lots I've been wanting to talk to you about.
There is a ton.
You got some things you want to get off your chest because of so many things that are happening. I mean, for an off season, there's been a lot of Eagles activity. And listen, we're in June now. I'm starting to get the next season blood pumping. And it's just, I was listening to Cooper DeJean and Blankenship's podcast today, and they got me juiced. They had Quentin Mitchell in as a guest, and they're talking about how they all perceive themselves to be even better than last year because they're going to have a year into the defense, and all three of them are just like all expect to be even more keyed in on Fangio's defense and communicating with each other. Just hearing that, I'm like, oh man, I love it. I love all three of these guys. So yeah, I mean, welcome to the show. I'll give you the floor here to talk, to just talk about whatever's on your mind with the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into some subject matters.
Well, I'll pick up right where you left off talking about the defense, because I've been a fan even pre-Sirianni of Vic Fangio. And when I've talked about it on the show, I wanted Vic Fangio as the coach when he went to Miami instead, and to have him on our staff, I was like, just give it just a little bit of time and things are going to be amazing for the Eagles D. And that's awesome for the coach. I've talked enough about him, but these players that they've drafted and, Howie, there's basically three things around the top of my head. A, Howie gets credit again for taking care of the Bryce Huff situation.
We'll talk about that. Yep.
Okay. I'll save the rest of that then, but we'll save the praise for Howie.
You can talk about Huff now if you want. We can get into it a little bit.
So it's a brilliant move again. There's no GMs in the league right now and I don't know if this ties back to Jalen Reagor and all the crap that how he was getting in the media or what, but the masterful way of getting out from the Carson Wentz contract and another masterful move to say, we made a mistake and we are not sitting on this mistake to let it drag us down. If we've recognized it as a mistake, we're moving on, and whatever that is, we'll get the best compensation in return for it. But we will eat and swallow this bad deal that we made, and we're moving on. And
that's a new Howie, because he wasn't like that, as we know. Early Howie and Andy Reid, even when he was here, he would any mistakes that they made, which wasn't many, but they would keep them and try to see if they can fix it and hold on, or even So it's definitely a dramatic change with Howie. To your point, recognizes it was a mistake. I think Fangio, he was never going to incorporate Huff into this defense. Just wasn't a good fit. And I think that'll also help going forward, because one of the other things I'm pretty sure they learned was that they should it was Fangio's first year, and he just got there when the draft. So I don't think they really had a chance to really talk a lot about exactly the players that Fangio wanted. I mean, it's speculation now, but it kind of makes sense. Now Fangio's been in the system he's been here a year. And I think before the draft this year, I'm sure they had much more communication. Hey, Vic, what type of players, do you need for this year's defense? So I think it's going to improve there too in drafting.
There was a lot of talk last year and the year before, especially from Jalen Hurts, about the standard, the Eagles standard. This is the standard. We need to meet the standard and not look at anyone else. Just look in the mirror and meet the standard. The standard is so clearly established on defense now. That's what's affecting Jordan Davis's shape, which is my second thing I want to talk about. The dude looks like I can't even think of the guy, but the Minnesota Vikings a couple years ago, after John Randall and before recently, had these two stalwart defensive tackles there. And the one taller big dude and Chris Jones type, you want a body type that Jordan Davis looks like right now, as of a picture I saw this morning of him leaning on a brick wall at the Nova complex.
I haven't seen that picture, but I've heard people talking about it.
Yeah, he's in Chris Jones type of shape. Wow. So I'm like, holy moly, what is this going to do next year? Like, I can't wait for that. And I think that's because the standard has been set on defense. You know,
Yeah.
if you're not standard, you're going to be on your way to another team. Good luck,
Yeah.
but we can't use you. And I think
Yeah,
that's
he's in
why
a contract year too, so that's always an underlying motivation factor.
Yeah.
The Eagles did extend. They extended his last year and his option, so he is in the contract year. That's always usually a motivating factor. You'd like to think that he's more doing this for the right reasons. Not that money's not the right reason, but you're going to get money in the NFL regardless. But he sounds like he's doing it for the right reasons. He started kind of doing it last year. He got in better shape, but it sounds like he's even.
He looks like somebody I haven't seen. Like he's a completely different looking player now.
Yeah.
And then what was my third thing? Had a third thing. Maybe it'll come back to me.
All right. Maybe it'll come back.
Yep.
I think you've been away for a while, so there's probably a few things that probably you want to, pounce on. But if it comes back to you, just bring it out. Did we talk about before you had a hiatus? But Goddard re-signed?
Yeah, so that happened while I was off. So
it did. Okay, that's what I thought. So you want to talk about that a little bit?
Oh, yes, I do. And then I just remembered my third thing. So because they're both kind of the same, right? So Goddard, they re-signed him. He kind of settled on his side. He
took a pay cut. Yeah.
He wanted, but he was very articulate with that. And I think that's awesome that he can speak honestly about it. And it's not a big media hype thing. And there's nobody writing articles about how Eagles screwed Goddard and stuff. So I'm glad the media is wisening up here in local Philadelphia. So that's good. At the same time, I think if a team gets an injury at tight end or something, or if a team gets in the season, and depending on how the season goes, if somebody needs a tight end, I do see that being a possible trade move on week 8.
Possible.
Yep, because
I don't think he's a long-term solution here. He's getting older now. I think he's early 30s, 31 maybe.
Yep.
So that's a good point. It's possible that team gets desperate, wants to give an Eagles a third-round pick for him. You can see the Eagles shipping him off. Hopefully he's here to stay, though. I think for the Eagles to be at their maximum, really difficult schedule. If they want to get back to Super, Goddard is important there. He was the go-to guy in the playoffs. Those big third downs. Where did Jalen go? A lot of them went to Goddard. So
and that catch against the Packers was legendary, where he's just stiff-arming dude all the way. Yeah, and so good move on that. And then the other thing that may happen before we get into the training camp, and I just saw the news this morning that Rodgers says he's going to go sign with the Steelers.
But I knew that was going to happen.
Lot of heat surrounding Tanner McKee and people paying attention. And this morning was the first article that I read that noted what we've been saying. We're like, hey, New York Giants, Cleveland Browns, we have your solution at quarterback. Raiders, we have your solution. Just give us a third-round pick, and you can have Tanner McKee, and he'll win games for you. And good luck, Tanner. And
tell you what,
great backup, but I
want a second pick for him. I don't want to let him go for anything less than a second.
Honestly. Well, it's heating up, right? So I said that back when we were doing those podcasts, but I'm like, it is heating up. And if you're talking about a second pick next year, or maybe a fourth and a second the year after that, like who knows what the market could be, but he's heating up. The Saints need a quarterback because Carr stepped out. So it's like, oof, there might be Howie's definitely receiving calls on Tanner McKee.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes. I think Howie probably hangs on to him to play a couple preseason games.
I hope so. I mean, me and you like him. I don't think either one of us are in a rush to see him go out the door.
Nope.
Because Jalen's a physical quarterback. He takes a lot of hits, as we know, and he runs the ball a lot. And it's nice to know that we got Tanner McKee who can come in, and we know he can. The offense really doesn't skip a beat. Tanner's not going to take off and run the ball like Hurts, but passing wise, they're not going to change anything. I mean, he can make every throw. He's proven it.
If you feel confident in your offensive line, you need a person that can play quarterback. Tanner McKee is your guy.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think he'll probably, if they hang on to him in the preseason, it's just to put him out there on the field and show everybody.
Yeah.
Heat up the market even more. This guy can play. So,
as we know, injuries can happen during the season. So teams' number one quarterback goes down, and they it's a good team. It's like a playoff type contender team. They're going to want to have a quick fix that they can bring in, and that's where McKee also, if it's before the trade deadline, that the Eagles can get some more calls. So it's not surprising the Eagles getting calls about him. I mean, I would have liked to have him a little bit more under the radar than he now is.
Quarterback starved league.
But they also have said early in camp, now you can't take a lot in OTAs, so always going to put that out there. This is not football yet, but they're already saying that McCoy is clearly ahead of the Cleveland guy that they also had in there.
McCord. Kyle McCord.
McCord, thanks. Damn it. Almost made it. Kyle McCord was already throwing better and more accurate and all this than whoever that Cleveland guy is that they brought in.
DRB.
What's his name?
I don't know what his name is, but it's DRB.
Yeah, something Robinson, whatever. I don't know, whatever it is.
Yep.
Anyway, he's probably not going to make the team, so I'm not going to be worried about mispronouncing his name or forgetting about him. I think McCord's going to be the number 3 quarterback. And maybe, I mean, if the Eagles do move McKee, then, they're probably going to bump McCord to number 2 already.
Or to be 2, yeah.
So, anyway, it's that's interesting. I didn't hear about the those new rumors, but makes sense. How about Eagles Dallas? I do think we knew about that before you took a hiatus, about how that was going to be the opening game.
Opening game Thursday night. Yep. Games at home. We get to raise
the banner against the Cowboys, man. That is going to be as juiced an atmosphere as you can imagine. Oh,
yeah. That'll be an awesome start to the season. Yep.
It's a good time to play Dallas too, because let's face it, they got a new coach, new whole coaching staff, right? And Dak's back with some new guys. So it's, if you're going to catch Dallas at the right time before they can kind of get gel and get things together, because I do think that was a good move getting Pickens there for the Cowboys. They have now definitely an established number 2 threat, even though the guy's a head case.
Right.
Dallas is used to bringing in those type of players, so that's not surprising. But the guy's talented, no doubt. So that'll help Dallas. But, to get them opening day and the atmosphere, I mean, the Eagles should stomp them. We'll see. I mean, it's the opening day. Will the Eagles have a hangover from the Super Bowl? And all those kind of things can play into it too. And Dallas will be up for the game. They're going to want to probably make a statement if they can. Anyway, the NFL knows what they're doing. That's going to be a ratings freaking hit for sure to start the season off. Talked about Goddard. Once you get back to Huff, just because of the particulars, if you guys don't know, Eagles are still going to pay $9 million of his $17 million salary. So that's how much of a bust the guy was. Let's face it. So the Eagles are still paying 9 of 17, but they found a team to take him off the Eagles' hands. So that's a win-win. He's going back to his old coach who knew how to use him. So he's probably going to play well. I don't think it surprises anybody if he has a rebound season with the 49ers. He's back with his Jets coach and who's now the new defensive coordinator. What's his name? Salas.
Robert Salas.
Yep. Yeah. So he's back with him. Huff could probably, go back and maybe get close to 10 sacks again. It wouldn't surprise me. He just wasn't a fit here in Vic's defense, as we talked about. So kudos to Howie, like you said, to negotiate that deal and unload him, because Vic wasn't going to play him. I mean, clearly, you didn't play him in the Super Bowl. So.
No, which means the guys that are going to start are already on the team. So that's not going to eat $9 million. It was worth it for them to eat $9 million than to keep these other guys off the field. That's where that equation works itself out. So that's exciting news if you're an Eagles fan. And this defense, I'm telling you, we smacked the crap out of the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And
some of those guys are still here.
These and the older guys resigned, like Graham is gone. Yeah. Bond gets re-signed. Yeah. But you just have this like team spirit on this defense that probably hasn't been there since Reggie White, Jerome Brown, Eric Allen. So I'm like, I am super stoked to see what this D is capable of. I mean, what was their average last season? Like 17 points a game? They were one of the best.
Yeah, I think they were top one, maybe the first or second, I think, in points given up. They were definitely one of the best in the league.
Yeah, so you just take a field goal off of that, and now we're talking 14 points a game. Like, this is a tough Philly defense. And I think everyone's like, well, I don't know. Philly lost some people. I'm like, no, we are stacked on defense and offense. So yeah,
guys like Ajomo have shown. Now they haven't shown over a whole season because they didn't have playing time. But Ajomo got pressure, was decent against the run. I mean, he showed that he can do it. Can he do it for now getting in and many more plays, playing 3 times the amount of plays now? Can he hold up with that? Talk about Jordan Davis being in better shape. Jalen Carter hasn't. I mean, there's people saying that he doesn't even know how to play defensive tackle yet in the NFL. He doesn't even. Somebody said that, like some analyst or something was like, or somebody close to the Eagles said that.
Jeremiah Trotter said it.
Was it Trotter?
Yep.
Like, he doesn't even really know the position yet. He's like doing a lot of this on just natural ability. When he really focuses in, this guy is going to be ridiculous. He already is. So that is exciting. And then to hear Carter, I don't know if you picked up on this recently, Matt, but he talked about the 4th round pick, which is the guy I talked about this in the draft. I always have like one favorite player. I love the 1st round pick. You know, I was kind of like this on the 2nd one because I thought they could have waited a 3rd with the safety. The 4th round pick, the guy out of Nebraska, that defensive tackle, Jalen Carter, is calling it an animal already through OTAs. Now, again, it's just OTAs. It's got to, play guys and get, we need to really see him in action. But for Jalen Carter's not going to say that about somebody just to say it. If Carter's already seen ability out of this guy, I think he's going to be like the valued pick out of this draft. And I'm really excited to see it. I'm trying to remember his name.
I just call him the kid from Nebraska.
Kid from Nebraska. That's what we're going to go with right now. So he's got to earn. He's got to earn to remember Banks so I can recall his name just like that. So right now he's the kid from Nebraska. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. But anyway, that guy is freaking a beast, and I'm excited about him. Talked about Cooper and Blankenship and Q's show. First of all, before you ever even go to their podcast, make sure you like and subscribe to us first, and then you can go over to theirs.
Right.
But it's a great podcast, by the way. They're like 4 episodes in. Anyone who hasn't checked them out yet, it's really cool. Those guys are just cool guys anyway. They're guys, and this is what's good about the Eagles and the culture they bring in. They don't bring in, I mean, occasionally you get a guy that's edgy, but for the most part, the Eagles bring in guys that are just, it just seems like if you just ran into Cooper DeJean or Q, they would actually hang out and like talk to you and just chill, just be cool dudes and not arrogant or just, brush you off. Just, they come across as just cool guys, man. And that's important when you get the culture and you face adversity. Those are the type of players you want. They're so even keel. I mean, Q, Blankenship talked about this in the podcast, so definitely check it out. Blankenship talked about how when they both came in as rookies last year, hardly either one of them said a word. Like, Blankenship's like, he goes, you guys were so quiet. You barely said a thing for the first several weeks. He's like, I had to go break you guys. He's like, they're like, yeah, well, we were new. And like, both of them are very reserved. Now they're much more, talkative now that they've had a year. But when they came in, Blankenship's like, you guys barely said anything. Like, I was like trying to get you to talk. And they're both just so like chill and they don't get too high, don't get too low. And that's also the kind of guys you want back there. So again, just to hear them talk about how they're thinking about, going into this season, second year in this defense, it's just, it gets you excited for sure. So that is all I really want to catch up on today. We're going to try to keep these
short.
A little short. We kind of run a little long because we get to, but we're going to keep more focused and short. But at the same time, we're going to have a lot of fun going forward here in the off season because, it's a little bit of a drag now, until, training camp starts and we're going to, all the preseason games and all that kind of thing. So we got a little bit of a lull, but it won't be a lull on this podcast. What we're going to do is some fun, interesting little, I don't know if you want to call them games, but we're going to have like lists that we're going to make up of all-time Eagles, and we're going to be creative and have some fun with that. And we're going to have you guys engage as well and maybe come up with yours during those podcasts, come up with your top 5 lists. Maybe there's a name out there that Matt and I didn't think about, for example.
If you on a top 5 name that we didn't think about, that would be a miracle. That would be drilling down through.
It'd be tough to do, but maybe there's somebody out there that might throw a name out there like, you know what? Yeah, man, we forgot about that guy.
Yeah. Well, I would love to do like just an idea. Like there's 2 shows wrapped up in this all-time fantasy draft for all-time Eagles, but we can do 2 shows. One, we draft the offense, and then part B, we draft. and
Yep.
we go 2 players deep, maybe 3 players deep.
Yeah, we may do that
We'll
one next
see.
week.
See if
We might do that next week because I don't know if the Eagles are going to keep buzzing around the news unless something breaks. But I mean, there's rumors out there about Trey Hendrickson. I'm telling you, anyone out there, and I know the only time I've really been wrong is the Barkley thing. Most of the time, and I know, you guys don't go back as far as the old podcasts because they're, I used to be just on the radio or streaming, not video. But I'm not wrong too often in my predictions or just my take on things. But I was totally wrong about Barkley. That was shocked the heck out of me that they actually went out and put that much money in a running back. But to me, I'm going to go on the record again and say there's no way in the world they're going to bring Trey Hendrickson in. So anyone who thinks that Howie's going to go out and make that huge trade and bring him in here, it's not happening. It's not happening. So I'm very confident of that. And maybe I'll be wrong 2 years in a row and they'll do it, but I don't see it happening. What I think might happen is Von Miller. I think that's much more of a chance to get a seasoned vet in here as an edge pass rusher. That I could potentially see Howie bringing him in here, and I've heard that's a kind of a rumor too because he was in Vic Fangio's defense in Denver, so he knows the defense. That would make, and he's not going to cost nearly as much in compensation or draft picks or whatnot. I don't know if he's a free agent. I think he's a free agent, right? Is he on another team or is he just out there?
I believe. Where would he play last? Buffalo?
I think he's Buffalo, yeah. I don't know if he's still on Buffalo or if he's not signed with the
guy. Yeah, he'd be a 1-year deal signing, probably coming up.
Right. Just a vet guy who could kind of take over like the Brandon Graham type role. Not that you could replace BG because he's a career Eagle, but still.
Yeah. You're going to see
a guy who situational pass rusher, that type of thing.
You're going to see a Nolan Smith explosion next year. I'm calling it right now. Nolan Smith is going to have an amazing year.
I see it too. I see it. My only thing with him is, and he just had surgery again to repair something that happened. He got hurt in the Super Bowl. I think he tore his tricep or something, or bicep. Yeah. So he just had surgery, but he's, he says he's feeling good. He's going to be fine. He'll be able to start opening day, but he's just a little, he's a little injury prone. And it's because the guy goes 100 miles an hour at every single play, which is what you want. So, and he's no longer, he's definitely grown into his body now. He's not guy is just jacked up. And I love his mentality. He's another guy that spoke this week to the media, and he's like, I already got my first sack day. He was talking about Brandon Graham and how important he was because, again, he was a first-round pick. He had a lot of questions after his first sort of year in the league where he was getting pushed around and wasn't really much of an impact, and everyone started to kind of question, oh, man, I don't know if this guy is big enough to do it in this league. And then he freaking broke out last year. He credits Brandon Graham a lot for sticking with him and telling him, kind of pushing him through that tough time. And he says that he's got a special sack, his first sack. He's already got the dance down. I'm thinking, this is just a guess, he's going to do the old I think he's going to do the BG. That's what I think he's referring to, but we'll see.
He might have.
Yeah, I'm excited for him, though.
All right.
Yeah, so anything else before we part ways?
No.
We're coming up. We actually got 7 minutes before we get to a half hour. So we have a couple more minutes. We have it.
I'm glad you're back. I will mention, since I drink whiskey often on this show, when I poured last, I did come across a very tasty whiskey, a gift.
Is this going to be a sponsor? Are we going to give them free pub here?
If they give us a free bottle, we will shield the bottle alive. But Uncle Nearest 100 proof, amazing premium whiskey. It's not a bourbon. It's a whiskey, but it's one of the best whiskeys I've had.
What's the name of it again?
Uncle Nearest. It's the 100 proof bottle. It's
Uncle Nearest. You're drinking the high test.
It's very good.
This is why Matt has to have this show end, or he's going to start slurring his words.
No, it's good. I only drank a finger, but it is good stuff for any whiskey.
Right, I'll have to look for it. I'll have to check it out. We have similar tastes with the bourbons and the whiskeys.
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Anyone out there, don't drink and drive. Little PSA message. Matt's not driving. Not driving anytime soon tonight.
But you can drink and comment on the show. That's allowed.
You can do that. So yeah, make sure you like, subscribe. A lot more activity coming. We're going to be Matt's back now, so we're going to be back into our routine. And like I said, we got some good things in store for the offseason, going to get us all through that as we gear up to defend our championship. And I can't wait to raise that banner in front of Jerry. Man, the link is going to be so jacked for that game. It's going to be, I mean, I'm already smiling. I was already talking smack with a female Cowboys fan this week. I'll share a quick story. So I'm out in the grocery store. I got my Eagles hat on, and I don't know what to actually said to just trigger it. She didn't say like Eagles suck or anything. Maybe I said something to her first. I don't remember. Anyway, I'm like, yeah, we're kicking it off to start the season. She's like, yeah, you guys going down. I'm like, I said, we're raising the banner. We're raising the banner in front of you, all your other Cowboy fans, Jerry, Dak. I said, we ain't losing that game. You guys are in for it, opening day. And so we kind of went back and forth as we were walking to the cars in the parking lot. It was just funny. I was talking trash to some. And actually, she was giving it back, too. Like, it wasn't like just me. So it was funny. Already getting some pre-season banter in the parking lot with a Cowboy fan. So, man, I can't wait.
Wasn't some 80-year-old grandma, was it? You got to take it easy if it was.
No, it was like she's in her 30s, maybe. Something like that. So that was fun. Man, I always like talking smack to Cowboy fans. Doesn't matter. But yeah, it's going to be a good time. Hopefully we get out to a game this year. I mean, I'd like to be able to get to a game. We haven't gone to a game in a couple of years now. So
if we end up watching on the day that the tickets are sold, that would be a win. Like we've missed the last couple of seasons of like, oh, tickets were on sale today. Crap.
No. Yeah. So hopefully Matt and I, and then we'll do a little live podcast while we're there tailgating. That'd be kind of cool too.
Can't we turn this YouTube channel into some press passes?
I know, right? Well, we need more subscribers, and then we'll do that. I have some content, I do, but we need to have more. They're not going to come on the show unless they have I can show them, hey, look at all these freaking thousands of subscribers.
Yeah.
Like, so put that effort in until that happens.
Right.
They're just going to laugh at me. I'm like, come on. But if I have I could show them, hey, listen, man, this is a growing channel.
Yep.
That goes a long way. So that's down the road, but it's definitely a possibility.
Cool. Let's wrap.
That's it, man. We'll wrap it up. Matt, thanks for returning. I think
thanks for having me.
Might get concerned if you're ever going to come back. He is back.
I thought I'd be ready last week, but I was like, no, too much stuff still dealing with. So glad to be back. Sorry to be away for a month, but
no need to apologize, man. You had some stuff you had to sort out and get through, and we understand that. But yeah, we're glad to have back. And man, we're gonna rock and roll this season as we head into the off season. It's gonna be fun, man. This Eagles team is gonna be. I know they lost some guys. We talked about it, man. They're still gonna be one of the top.
They're gonna be better. I think they're gonna be better, even with the tough schedule. I think they're gonna be better. Record may not be better. The record may not be better.
That's true. They might actually be a better team, but not have as good a record. It's possible. Yep. Yeah. But they will be really anyone who makes it out of the NFC East in the playoffs. Like it might be 2 teams again. Maybe who knows if 3 teams get in? Who knows? But any team in the NFC, and I'm even including the Giants who might finish last. Nobody's going to want to play the Giants because the Giants can be playing tough teams every single week too. So you take a day off. You think the Giants coming in, you can take a day off. These guys are going to be used to playing tough game every single week, as are the Eagles and Cowboys and Commanders. They're going to be battle tested. Whoever gets in from the NFC East, of course, we hope the Eagles are one of them for the playoffs, no doubt.
Show for the future.
Show for the future.
Show for
All
the
right.
future.
Fly Eagles fly. Like, subscribe. Matt's back, so just subscribe for that reason alone, folks. All right.
Right.
We'll catch you next time, next week. More than likely, it's going to be on Wednesday, and we'll catch you there. So for Matt, this is Geoff. Go Birds. Catch you next time.